The Ghost in the Suburbs. Tier 1 Direct Action. To your neighbors, you're the guy in logistics. The one who mows his lawn at noon on a Tuesday and waves from the driveway and never says much. They see a quiet man living a quiet life. They don't see the 0-500 sprints where your lungs burn like acid. They don't see the way you track the man running next to you. Not as a friend, not as a teammate, but as a silent benchmark of lethal capability. In this building, rank is a ghost. You call the man who could end a small war by his first name. You were pulled from somewhere in the army, Rangers, Special Forces, somewhere with mud and pain on the resume, and put through a selection so classified the United States government will look you in the eye and deny the unit exists, while simultaneously handing it a budget that makes small nations uncomfortable. You have a cover story. You've told it so many times your body believes it. But the story isn't you. Tonight, you're looking through glass that turns the pitch-black world into a sharp, breathing, neon green landscape. You aren't just carrying your gear. You've worn it so long it's become a second skin, an extension of your hands, your instincts, your nervous system. The objective is a 2-story fortress. Unknown number of armed men. Unknown variables stacked on top of unknown variables. You don't think about the politics. You don't think about the senators who would have to explain things on television if tonight goes wrong. You think about the 4-minute window. Breath, breach, clear. The world goes loud for 90 seconds of controlled chaos. Then it goes silent again. By sunrise, you're back in the suburbs. The lawn still needs mowing. The world is none the wiser. Nobody will ever know what you did. That's not a sacrifice. That's the job. The Hammer of the Dawn. 75th Ranger Regiment. You exist in a permanent cycle. Back home, back out, back home, back out. Your duffel bag never fully gets unpacked because somewhere in your body, you already know the next rotation is coming. The question is never if, the question is when. You remember Georgia, the mountains, and the Florida swamps. Not as places, but as a haze. A long, grinding hallucination of starvation and sleeplessness, and instructors who seemed to be genuinely enjoying themselves while you fell apart. By week 3, you were seeing things in the tree line that weren't there. By week 5, you stopped caring. You finished because the alternative, walking away, was something your body had forgotten how to do. 3,500 Rangers across 5 battalions. You deploy more than almost anyone in special operations, not months at a time. Rotations, come home, exhale, pack again. Tonight, the mission is an airfield seizure. The jump light goes green. You hit the earth hard, transition to your feet, and move. Your hands find the magazine release and the safety by muscle memory alone. Your brain hasn't caught up yet, but it doesn't need to. The objective is 800 meters out. You cover it at a run. 12 minutes from jump to ownership. An entire airfield has changed hands. The kinetic energy has been delivered. The door has been ripped clean off its hinges. By the time conventional forces touch down behind you, the hard part is already done and already forgotten. That's the arrangement. Rangers take the door. Everyone else walks through it. The Sergeant Major said it so often, it stopped being a saying and became a law of physics. Rangers lead the way. The Quiet Architect, U.S. Army Special Forces, Green Berets. You've been sitting on the same dirt floor for 6 weeks. The tea tastes like wood smoke and dust, and you've learned to drink it slowly because the pace of the tea is the pace of the trust, and the trust is the whole mission. You speak the local dialect well enough now to hear the hesitation in an elder's voice before the words form. You know who in the room believes you. You know who is still deciding. You've stopped trying to rush that process. You've learned that you can't. This is what Green Berets actually do, not the movie version. The real version. The mission isn't the raid. The mission is everything that makes the raid unnecessary, or, when it is necessary, makes it theirs instead of yours. Unconventional warfare. The Founding Mission, 1952. While others do raids, you build relationships, networks, entire fighting forces assembled from raw materials no one else thought were usable. You are one of 12 men in an ODA, each cross-trained in at least 2 specialties. Your medic can perform surgery by candlelight in a hut with no power. Your comm sergeant can reach headquarters from the edge of the world with gear he partially built himself. Tonight, you aren't holding the rifle at the front of the stack. You're in the shadows, watching through night vision, and as the local men you trained, men who couldn't hold a weapon straight 2 months ago, take back their own town. You offer one quiet correction over the radio, a whisper in the ear of a new army, then you step back. It's their operation. Your victory won't be a headline. It'll be a footnote in a think tank report 10 years from now. A vague geographic reference and a single line about shifting military balance. What you actually built, what changed in that province because of what 12 men did in the mud over 6 months, that will never have a name attached to it. Freedom, it turns out, is a slow, patient game of chess. The Invisible Pilot, 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Night Stalkers. The landing zone is a joke. There is no landing zone. There's a crumbling rooftop 40 feet across, in a crowded city wrapped in power lines and bathed in absolute darkness, in a neighborhood that has no idea you're coming. You land on it anyway, because you're a Night Stalker, and this is just Tuesday. The 161st exists because none of the names on this list, Delta, Dev Group, Rangers, none of them get in or out without someone who can put a helicopter exactly where it needs to be, in complete darkness, at the edge of what the laws of physics politely allow. That someone is you. You are the reason the mission happens. You are also the last person who gets the credit. You're flying an MH-47 in a total blackout, the rotors baffled to a low thrum that vibrates in your back teeth. So you wear 4-tube night vision that renders the terrain in layered green depth, a godlike view of a world no one else can see. Your margin of error on final approach is measured in feet, sometimes inches. You know this. You've known it for years. You don't dwell on it. The operators slide down the ropes and vanish into the dark below. Now you wait, loitering in a narrow valley, engines turning, holding altitude. You are the only way home. If things go sideways down there, the exit is you, and the exit has to already be close when the call comes. Night Stalkers don't quit. It's the motto. But really, it's just an accurate description of what happens every night. The deep silence. U.S. Navy SEAL teams. The water is 58 degrees. It has been 58 degrees for 22 minutes and it reached into your bones somewhere around minute 8 and hasn't left. Your hands are not fully functional. That's fine. You don't need your hands yet. You need your fins. You're a SEAL, not Dev Group, not the headline version. A regular SEAL team, which means you are still among the most capable human beings on the surface of this earth. You've just learned not to announce it. Bud S took 6 months. Hell Week was 5.5 days of continuous evolution, a blurred montage of cold surf and sand in your eyes, and instructors who appeared to be having the time of their lives while you shivered and ached and questioned every decision you had ever made. 25% of your class made it through. You were one of them. You're still not sure how. You've stopped trying to figure it out. You've been underwater for 40 minutes. The rebreather on your back makes no bubbles. Nothing rises to the surface. Nothing gives you away. You surface 10 meters from a rusted pier, the water dripping off your suit with a sound that disappears into the lap of the waves. You stop. You listen. You hear the silence you need to hear. Then you move. You are the predator that comes from the surf, handles the business, and vanishes back into the tide before the first alarm can even sound. Nobody is writing a book about tonight. No film, no podcast, just the cold, the dark, and the mission. That has always been enough. The Sky Weaver. 24th Special Tactics Squadron. You jumped first. That's always how it goes. You land in hostile territory before anyone else. In the dark, alone. You're carrying 90 pounds of technology on your back and the weight of every aircraft about to follow you in. Inside that ruck, radios, lasers, batteries, and enough medical supplies to keep a man alive until the helicopter you're about to call actually arrives. Your job is to take a patch of dirt in the middle of a war zone and turn it into a functional airfield. You are FAA certified to control air traffic. You are also a trained special operations ground combatant. Both of those things are completely true at the same time. You've accepted the beautiful absurdity of it. Right now, a ranger squad is pinned down. The air is thick with the smell of spent brass and the particular silence that falls between incoming rounds. You don't flinch, you're on the radio, are talking to a pilot 5 miles above you who cannot see the ground, giving coordinates, elevation, wind, painting the target with a laser invisible to every human eye on the ground except the targeting pod of an aircraft moving near the speed of sound. 9 seconds of tension. Then the tree line doesn't exist anymore. The Rangers keep moving. Nobody asks how you did it. Nobody needs to. That's exactly why you're here. You are the bridge between the mud and the stars, the one who speaks both languages fluently and brings the full weight of the sky down onto a single square inch of earth. The 24th has been in Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Syria. Wherever the air and the ground need to talk to each other and the conversation cannot fail, the 24th is the connection. The quiet link that makes every other unit on this list sharper, faster, and harder to kill. The Shadow Watcher. Intelligence Support Activity, Task Force Orange. You don't wear a uniform. You wear a local jacket and a bored expression, and you've been nursing the same coffee at the same stall for 6 weeks. You know which coffee shop the target uses on Tuesday mornings. You know which route he drives, which guard changes at which hour, and what that guard does when he thinks no one is watching. You know which floorboard in the hallway creaks, and exactly how long the delay is at the security gate. URISA. The Intelligence Support Activity. Task Force Orange. Created in 1981 after Iran, after the military finally asked the question it should have asked years earlier. What if the intelligence came first? You work in teams of 2 to 4, months ahead of the operators. Or you map the pattern of life down to the last detail. Every weakness in the target's world, catalogued and handed off clean. You will never meet the men who use what you built. You will never know exactly what they did with it or how it ended. Your war doesn't look like war. It looks like patience. It looks like a man with a newspaper and nowhere pressing to be, watching a building he's been studying for weeks. But somewhere downstream, a Delta team, a Ranger platoon, a Dev group assault element, someone is about to walk through a door knowing exactly what's behind it. Every room, every position, every variable mapped and accounted for. Not luck, not instinct. That's because of you. The target just pulled up to the curb. You pull out a burner phone. You send a single character. And somewhere, the gears of a massive, invisible machine begin to turn.